This is Block 11, Reagan's Revolution, Section 4, Reagan's Cold War, with the section Middle Eastern Terrorism. In 1983, President Reagan sent the U.S. Marines to Lebanon as a part of a multinational force in an attempt to keep the peace in that nation. Lebanese society had been radicalized by Palestinian refugees and nationalists who were using Lebanese territory to attack Israel. That's kind of one of the major groups. There's so many different groups in Lebanon. Traditionally, it's a very diverse, multi-ethnic, multi-religious society, and that society was beginning to fray big time in the early 1980s. So you have Palestinian nationalists using Lebanese territory to attack Israel. Then you have the traditional Christian and Muslim elites in the city trying to hold on to power, kind of restricting the rights and freedoms of the majority. And now you have Iran starting to intervene and interfere in Lebanese affairs. That Lebanon is it's turning from one of the most beautiful, successful countries in the Middle East to an absolute nightmare. So the Marines are dispatched to that the Israelis had invaded in 1982 in an attempt to drive out the radicals from southern Lebanon. It was a bad situation all around. In October of 1983, while the Marines are there, a suicide bomber, an Islamic fundamentalist, drove a truck into these barracks where the Marines were staying and exploded the truck, killed 253 Marines. Reagan said that, the United States mission in Lebanon is not worth the lives of 253 U.S. Marines, and Reagan withdrew the troops, and Lebanon continued on its path to become a failed state, which it is today. The absence of any really kind of centralized authority in Lebanon meant that terrorists operating from Lebanon, influenced by the Islamic Revolution in Iran, made kind of a business of kidnapping Americans in Israel and holding them hostage. So there was a number of Americans that were snatched, in the middle of the night from Israel and held in nasty, deplorable conditions in Lebanon. And Reagan refused to negotiate with terrorists. He said, we will not negotiate with terrorists. We will not give in to their demands. He's obviously afraid of encouraging, more kidnapping-type behavior. That if one terrorist group kidnaps somebody and the United States gives in, obviously that is going to make more terrorists kidnap more Americans. Hold that idea in mind, that there are quite a few Americans being held hostage in Lebanon, that Reagan is publicly refusing to negotiate with the hostage takers.